I'm learning though. I'm learning.
I'm doing my best. Great.
What do we want? Safe access!
No.
When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Safe access! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Safe access! Why do we want it? It's law! That's right, it has been the law for 15 years. And that's why we're all down
He doesn't want to do it.
So for those folks, the folks on jury duty, folks coming in to work in this courthouse, I want to know why you're here. Yeah. Is medical marijuana week. That's right, it's an entire week of where we go out and raise awareness about medical marijuana. And about the continued harassment and intimidation of patients, of legitimate, sick, and dying patients right here in San Diego. Not somewhere in other towns, not some other states, no, right here in San Diego. Even in this group, there are patients who've been prosecuted, who've been harassed, who've been tortured by Cannabis and her cronies. We are not going to stand for that. We are here to voice our opposition to her fierce fight against medical marijuana. That is her own case. She says she's a fierce fight against medical marijuana. So don't tell Ronnie, Cannabis, when she comes out and says she supports medical marijuana. She does not support medical marijuana. She prosecutes patients. She harasses patients, and she allows our local, state law enforcement to be commandeered by the feds. That's what's happening right now. All of the raids against dispensaries in San Diego, they are done, even though our local law enforcement is involved, they're cross-deputized as DEA. So every time the cops, San Diego PD or San Diego Sheriff, walk into a dispensary supposed to be enforcing state law, they don't do that. What they do is they say medical marijuana, there is no such thing. Medical marijuana is not legal. That's what our local law enforcement says. Are we going to stand for that? No! Are we going to stand for that? No! Because medical marijuana is the law, it is state law, and our local law enforcement must respect state law. So what are we saying that chant? Respect state law. 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 Respect state law.
Cannabis is a liar!
She is a liar!
Cannabis is a liar! Cannabis is a liar!
I'm prosecuting patients, I'm shutting down dispensaries, and I'm not just talking about dispensaries, I'm talking about individual patients trying to grow their own medicine. She goes after them. So for all the jurors in there, if you're on a drug case, specifically a medical marijuana case, folks are not be punished for your crimes. Jurors, even though the judges won't tell you this, I'll tell you this. The FIJA will tell you this. The Fully Informed Jurors Association and hundreds of other attorneys will tell you the same thing. You cannot be punished for your verdict. Your job is to not just take a look at the facts, not just what happened in the case, but it is also to judge the law want it? What do we want? Safe access! When do we want it? Now! What do we want?
Safe access!
Why do we want it?
It's the law!
What do we want?
Safe access!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Safe access!
When do we want it? Now! Now, not yesterday, not next week or next year. We want Bonnie Jimenez to come down here right now and explain her actions. Why is she prosecuting patients? Why is she out there saying she supports medical marijuana, but then on the ground it is completely the opposite? Right next door in that courthouse, there are patients, legitimate, sick and dying patients, getting prosecuted by Bonnie Jimenez, by our local San Diego County District Attorney, while she is telling us she supports medical marijuana. Are we going to stand for this? What do we want? Safe access! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Safe access! Why do we want it? Now! What do we want? Safe access! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Safe access! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Safe access! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Safe access! Why do we want it? Now! And Bonnie Jimenez and her evil cohorts are not going to take that away from patients right here in San Diego. Are we going to let them take our medicine away? No! Are we going to let them take our dispensaries away? No! Are we going to let them take our rights away? No! We are not going to stand for it. And Bonnie Jimenez, you can hear us, will not be our next mayor if anyone can help us. We will organize. We will stand up against you and we will put in power people who respect state law, people who respect patients' rights, and not crime corrupt patients like you. Change the prohibition of medical marijuana. Stop prosecuting patients, respect state law, and then apologize to the entire community. And then maybe we can talk about you even having a job in San Diego. Having a job for areas. What do we want? When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Safe access! Why do we want it? What do we want? Safe access! I don't think Bonnie Jimenez can hear you. I bet she's hiding in her office under her desk somewhere saying, oh my God, no, not the people. I don't represent the people. I can't represent the people. I'm going to hide. I'm going to pretend I can't hear this. So let's make sure that every courtroom, that every office in there can hear us. What do we want? Safe access! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Safe access! Why do we want it? Now! That's right, it is the one. I think she heard us this time. So no, Bonnie Jimenez, Americans for Safe Access, and the rest of the groups out there who care about patients' rights are coming after you. We will not let you be our next mayor. We will not let you continue these prosecutions. You will be held accountable. What do we want? Safe access! That's what we want. What do we want? Safe access! Why do we want it? What do we want? Safe access! When do we want it? What do we want? Safe access! Why do we want it? That's right, it is the law and it has been the law. Let's make her hear it. What do we want? Safe access! Why do we want it? What do we want? Safe access! When do we want it? I think she heard us. Let's take it to the court.